Today, we're going to talk about welded exceptions. We've learned about welded sounds. Remember, our welded sounds are UNG, lung, ung, ONK, honk, onk, ANG, fang, ang, ING, ring, ing, UNK, junk, unk, INK, pink, ink, ANK, bank, ank, ONG, song, ong. Now this is a review one. AN, fan, an, AM, ham, am. This is our review vowels. I, ich, I. I love to always review my vowels. Here's another review welded. ALL, ball, all. A, apple, a. E, ed, ed. E, ed, sorry. O, octopus, a. U, up, But today, I want to talk about our welded exceptions. Today, with our welded exceptions, those are our welded sounds. There are going to be some new ones. And we still say those sounds together, but they make some little different sounds for their vowels. It's not your typical vowel sound. So, for example, I have OLD. OLD, cold, old. You notice that O really makes an O sound. Repeat, OLD, cold, old. And because it says old, not ald, we would mark it up like this. A welded, it's still a closed syllable because we close it up with a consonant, but we put an X on it because it's called a closed syllable exception. Remember, a closed syllable has one short vowel and it ends up with a consonant. But old is a closed syllable exception because that O is saying O. We would also put a line, a straight line over the O to remind us that it's long, not our brief, that it's short. Another welded exception is olt. O-L-T, colt, olt. That's another welded sound, but it's a welded sound exception. It's still a closed syllable. It has one vowel and it ends with the consonant, but it's a closed syllable exception because that O is saying O. I would put a line over it to remind me that that vowel says O. Another one is oast. Say oast, repeat oast, O-S-T, post, oast. O-S-T, post, oast. That is a closed syllable. It is a closed syllable exception. It is welded, but I would put my line over it to remind me that that vowel is long. Next one I have is ILD. ILD, wild, ild. Wild is a closed syllable. It's closed up with a consonant. It does have one vowel, but it's a closed syllable exception because that vowel does say its name. And the last one is IND. IND, find, ind. It is a closed syllable exception because it does get closed up with a consonant. It is a welded sound, but the vowel is long, so we want to make it a closed syllable exception. Olt, old, oast, ild, ind are our closed syllable exceptions. We want to make sure that we remember how to mark our closed syllables, but we also want to remember that these are the closed syllable exceptions where the vowel does say its name. It's still a closed syllable, but we also know it's the exception because the vowel makes its name sound. Awesome job. Now what we're going to do is we're going to practice writing and tapping some words with a closed syllable exception. Some are going to be real and some are going to be nonsense. You're also going to be writing some of these words to remind you how to mark them up and, of course, give you some practice. The first word we're going to talk about is kind. Repeat kind. Kind, kind. So I would do my kind. I would mark it up by, I would weld my sound together. I would close it up, but we know it's an exception because that I says its name. Repeat kind. Kind. It's a closed syllable exception. Now, the next word we're going to tap out is the word child. 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 We would weld that sound together. We would underline our digraph. We would scoop up our syllable. We know it's a closed syllable, but you know it's a closed syllable exception because that I says its name. Great job. Now what I want you to do is all by yourself. I want you to tap out and repeat the word quild. Let's tap it out. Quild. That's the word that I want you to write. I want you to mark up your welded sound. I want you to mark up your closed syllable and, of course, mark up that long vowel. Repeat quild and start writing. The next word I want you to write and tap out is the word gold. Repeat gold. Old. Gold. Mark up your welded sound. Mark up your closed syllable. It is done with a consonant, but put your exception because that vowel is long. The next word I want you to do is host. Repeat host. Tap it out. Host. Go ahead, write host. Put your box around your welded sound. Close up your syllable, but as you know, it's an exception because the vowel is long. The last part you're going to do is you're going to write a sentence. Are you ready? Repeat. Wind up the top and let it spin. Repeat. Wind up the top and let it spin. Your job is to write that sentence. Remember, go through each word. Make sure you have each word. This is our checklist. Remember, check for capitals. How many do you have? How many do you need? Check for punctuation at the end. What do you need? Circle your trick words. The and are your trick words. And is one of those words you should know like this. And the, we can't tap out. Now, make sure those words that are not circled, tap out each one to make sure you have all the letters. And then my favorite part, scoop it up so we have more fluency. So your job is to write those 3 words I told you and to write the sentence. I can't wait to see your work learning about closed syllable exceptions.